The keys to the secrets of unlimited prosperity are hidden in the power of prophecy resident upon Prophet Elvis Mbonye, speaking a word to guide the course of nations. The year is 2017, and there is a rise in renewable and alternative energy sources with a global call for a shift away from petroleum and natural gas. While it seemed to be the new reality, what God had to say about it was quite gripping. January 3rd, 2017.
If the nation tries to engage in stuff that are not in line with those that would strike it, that would hit it, all of a sudden you miss your opportune time. You remember how Jesus said that Jerusalem missed its opportune time if you had known the time of your visitation. So I took these prophetic revelations and with prayer began to see that which was, that which would hit it for us. And then these are some of the things that I saw. And I want you to hear. Some of them seem familiar, but they come with a newness because they are timely. And as we speak them, may they go into the ears of everyone and convict all leaders and get them into the same spirit that prosperity such as we have never seen this year may invade this land and take over. Glory to God. Now, one of the things that I saw, this first thing was I saw that while there was, a tendency to move away, a global tendency to encourage other forms of energy besides oil, something will happen. Again, like I say, I am a prophet. I am not a geologist or whatever those guys are. So I pick these things as a prophet. And those of you who are into such fields would probably know better, especially on the details that I reveal. Okay, it says there will somehow be a refocus back onto oil, and its value will shoot. Like it will shoot. And the nations, you will begin to see some of those so-called new forms having flows of energy. And it seems bad news to what I at least know, the environmentalists. But the value will increase.
8 months later, the prophecy began to unfold in an extraordinary fashion.
With global campaigns against fossil fuels, President Yoweri Museveni says Uganda is not about to miss out on petrodollars.
You see, this campaign against oil is actually good for us. Because many companies are fearing to invest in new oil ventures. But for us who are already there in the night club, since oil is still in demand, the price is now going down. So you don't have to worry that the oil is about to run out of demand. As I will show, there will always be demand for oil.
Following a period of protracted delays, there was a refocus back on Uganda's oil, petroleum, and gas exploration.
We learned that Total boss Patrick Poyen had held a meeting with President Yoweri Museveni to discuss the way forward over an oil impasse that had delayed work on the 13 trillion shillings East African crude oil pipeline project. The president's tweet indicated that it was a fruitful one. Energy Minister Engineer Irene Muloney says this meeting gives a ray of hope that investors will make the long-awaited final investment decision by the first quarter of 2020.
5 years later, Uganda finally closed the deal for the extraction and sale of its oil.
We can even mention that date that the first oil will come out. We are not going to retract on the journey to develop our oil and gas in Uganda.
The agreements signed today in Kampala pave the construction of 1,440-kilometer crude oil pipeline from Uganda's Albertine region to Tanzania's seaport of Tanga. President Museveni said this marks a new step in the country's oil project.
The France Total Energies and China National Offshore Oil Corporations have sealed a landmark $10 billion deal to develop Uganda's energy resources and build a vast regional oil pipeline, a mega project that has incensed environmental groups. Total Energies, formerly Total, said last year it had taken steps to reduce the project's impact on people and the environment, but conservation groups charge it will be devastating.
The signing of the oil deals between Uganda and Tanzania and the joint venture partners CNOOC and Total Energies at State House Entebbe and State House Dar es Salaam early this year set the ball rolling.
Uganda and Tanzania have signed a major partnership deal to build what will be the world's longest heated oil pipeline, a project that the officials hope will transform the East African region into a major oil player.
The prophecy mentioned that this would not be good news for the environmentalists. In an eerily detailed unfolding of the prophecy, Uganda's refocus on oil drew a backlash from international globalists, especially over environmental concern, exactly as the prophecy had revealed.
But since February 1st, when government and the joint ventures, Total Energies, CNOOC, UNOC, and TPDC announced final investment decision for the $10 billion oil project, what started as a conservation campaign has turned into fierce opposition. International media is awash of fears, concerns, and environmental risks, real and perceived. Some have even inferred that the country is on a path to self-destruction with oil. Other NGOs, local and international, have been insistent that the project stops inundating financial institutions with letters not to finance it.
Environmentalists are opposed to the project and have for years lobbied financiers against bankrolling it.
The prophecy also talks about an increase in the value of oil, which has been seen in the recent sudden historic rise in the price and demand of oil in Uganda and across the globe.
Fuel prices have soared in Uganda. On Monday, many pumps had run dry in the northern and western regions of the East African country.
A litre of petrol, which cost about 3,500 shillings last Monday, is being sold at between 4,800 shillings and 6,000 shillings at most fuel stations.
Gas prices in Orange County have hit an all-time high. Switch to summer blend gasoline has driven up prices across Southern California, breaking records in Orange County.
Price of oil has jumped to its highest level in almost 7 years.
We are watching oil prices once again today that are pushing towards $90 a barrel. We've got a lot of forecasts for oil to continue to rise this year.
But over the last 6 months, obviously, the big story has been crude going up nearly 40%.
We're emptying our reserves here. What is this going to do to the markets?
Actually, what we know is that 20 million barrels per day is what Americans generally consume, right? That's the number. This is going to add eventually 1 million barrels per day to that number. That's going to basically be that free oil that eventually the United States is going to purchase back at around $80 a barrel to replenish the SPR. But as you say, this is the biggest release that we've ever seen in U.S. history, 180 million barrels per day. That dwarfs the last two releases. They were around 40 to 60 million barrels per day.
The shortage is likely to have a knock-on effect to public transportation, with customers likely to part with 133 shillings for a litre of diesel and 144 and 25 cents for a litre of petrol and 119 shillings and 42 cents for kerosene.
Some gas stations were forced to hike the price of fuel, some almost charging close to 200 per litre of petrol, a stretch of close to a kilometer of motorists lining up to get at least a litre of fuel.
The shortage of fuel is also causing a hike in prices, particularly in the capital, Nairobi.
Motorists stranded again in the desperate search for petrol. The shortage is likely to have a knock-on effect to public transportation, with customers likely to part with 133 shillings for a litre of diesel and 144 and 25 cents for a litre of petrol and 119 shillings and 42 cents for kerosene.
The prophecy revealed that there would be flaws in the alternative forms of energy, which unfolded at a global scale, true to the word of the prophecy.
It turns out that renewable energy isn't as rosy as we have all been sold.
Hundreds of thousands of birds are killed by wind turbines every year, and thousands of those are rare species of large birds like eagles. And solar has its own unique issues, mainly toxic waste, and many of them contain highly toxic chemicals that are harmful to human health and can cause cancer. Most solar and wind farms produce some amount of energy, around 75% of the time, even if it is just a little. This means we will always need a more consistent energy source, such as fossil or nuclear, to cover renewables downtime.
2019's shutdown of Nevada's Crescent Dunes plant. The Crescent Dunes plant ceased operation in 2019 after only 4 years of operation. NV Energy broke its purchasing contract with the plant after it failed to meet performance requirements, being marred by maintenance issues, including an 8-month shutdown due to a leak in the molten salt tank.
This is one among a countless number of stunningly accurate prophetic fulfillments, displaying God's unmatched hand of power present in the affairs of men and nations, revealed through the prophetic operation of Prophet Elvis Mbonye. And as those who have continually witnessed this special prophetic grace upon Prophet Elvis Mbonye work marvels unlike anything anywhere else in the world, we accord double honor to the supreme prophetic authority of our generation, Prophet Elvis Mbonye.